Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, May 15th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I pay my attention to that which I value. Important lesson. All right, so today we have Mercury shifting out of Aries into the sign of Taurus. It has been in Aries so long, I forgot to actually look how long it's been, but it's been at least probably close to 2 months that we've had Mercury hanging out in Aries. We have Mercury moving into Taurus until June, I think it's June 3rd. This is a really important transit. So Mercury in Taurus is helping us wrap up some major Taurus lessons, major Taurus transits like Jupiter finishing up in Taurus this next week. Our lessons of Taurus involve worth and value and money. But I feel like this transit is major. So anything we pay attention to, we give some sort of value, even if it's just the value of our time, which is an incredibly value thing. Anything we pay our attention into, we are honoring one way or another, even if you're giving it dishonor, right? Now, there's so much interesting stuff going on in the world, lots of opinions, and lots of people doxing others for their opinions. And to me, this is so bonkers because we're always feeding a beast. What is the beast you want to feed with your attention? What energy do you want to get bigger? Feed your attention to that, right? And I'm not saying that we should, ignore the ick. Sometimes these things need to be addressed, but not get stuck there. And this is the lesson of Mercury and Taurus for the next several weeks. Again, as the Sun, and Jupiter, and Venus all finish up in Taurus, and Uranus keeps going and, helping us shed and liberate, recognizing that which you value and recognizing how much energy you feed into what is important to you, what is valuable to you, and how much attention and energy you feed into things that are not that. Now, this is also interesting because what it's leading into. So, Jupiter, Sun, Venus are all about to move into Gemini. Jupiter is the big deal because it takes about a year transit and brings a lot of big energy. So, Gemini being the field of the mind, your attention is a really hot commodity, and it's about to get even bigger. What kind of energy, what kind of big energy, or what kind of value are you putting to this big energy, and where do you want to feed it? This is going to be a really important lesson. Now, I also think it's really interesting what's going on with, people getting shut down for stating beliefs that others may not agree with, or maybe not necessarily stating beliefs, which is not necessarily anybody's business, even if somebody's a public figure. That Neptune 29 degrees, this is part of it. And there is a lot of illusion and a lot of stories circling and cycling. And this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as these energies move into Gemini. So again, your attention is a hot commodity. What do you find value in? And are you honoring that value, right? I think when terrible and tragic things are happening in the world, it can rip us into a place of grief, and that grief can stir into angry tornadoes. So be aware, unless you want to be creating angry tornadoes, be aware that you're moving through these emotional energies. And be aware that I think sometimes helplessness or feeling helpless, because truly we're never truly helpless, but feeling helplessness can stir those energies. And again, where are you aiming your attention? Your attention is a commodity. Truly, truly, right? So be aware of that. This is, I think, like the crux of Mercury in Taurus. I think the other thing about Mercury in Taurus is recognizing each of our inherent value. This is every person, every being on this planet has inherent value, has reason for being here. And I wish we could be better at treating each other as if. And I think maybe Mercury in Taurus gives us an opportunity to, at least with our words, express our value to others. Maybe that's a goal. Like, maybe that's a goal, this transit. So when I was like thinking about this scope, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm going to some heavy places and I don't want to feed that beast too much. And yet I think it needs a little attention, right? Like, and this song came on, called Keep It Light by Wookiefoot. And one of the lines in there is, we make peace. We can make peace or war with our words, with our choices. If you're paying attention to your value, is it making peace? I don't know. Does it always? I don't know. I don't know if it does. But I think it can with kindness. And I think that the world is definitely in need of kindness. So here we've got this energy. Value your effects through your words, through your mind, through your gifts, through your essence of being that you bring to this planet. We get to explore that. So I'm looking forward to this Mercury in Taurus transit. Mercury will officially shift at 10:05 a.m. And like I said, there till about June 3rd. Do know that Mercury at 0 degrees likes to shenanigan. So there may be some of that bubbling up today. Speaking of feeding what we value, we have the moon in Leo. Moon in Leo connecting to Uranus and connecting in a square to the sun. So we've got some Leo Taurus squares. And I always think the squares, like, it's good to look both ways. Sometimes pride keeps us from like blasting open our heart and saying like the truly juicy love that we feel for one another on this planet. So watch your pride and where it might like keep you contained. And the other thing is you know, watch where that ego is, again, kind of doing that same thing, but it may also be doing that to you, like kind of lowering your personal worth, lowering the gift of you, the value of the gift of you that you bring forward. So be aware of that in and through some of these square energies. Might be some puniness that is being faced in and through these energies. Actually, we then have the moon squaring Jupiter. It's like just all these Leo Taurus squares, and it's just bringing up inner child stuff and value stuff, the ego, the pride. Notice those energies coming up. But that's all before that shift. Then we have Mercury shifting into Taurus, feeding the value, paying attention to the value. Moon will shift into Virgo later in the afternoon. It might be a little bit of a like afternoon. That's the best word for it. With the hands, because Mercury at 0, Moon at 0, it just can get a little wonk. We have Moon void, of course, and that always gets a little wonky. But Moon moving into Virgo can bring us some hyper focus, and hopefully it will help support what your commitment is. Hopefully, valuing your attention and helping focus on what is important. The Moon and Mercury will actually meet up at 0 degrees, and 0 degrees is a degree of transformation. So it's a good day. It's a good day for some of these shifts. So let's look at the cards we have. top commodity, the mind. What are you going to do with it? I actually love that we have the participation card. I always call this card the body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart. And I think our mind works best when we are connecting to these other places, and these other places within us are reminding the mind, like, what I love is valuable to me. My soul is valuable to me. My spirit is valuable to me. My body and taking care of my body is valuable to me. So hopefully this can bring some focus to the mind. That being said, we got a little back and forth, and that's okay. Actually, I think it's going to be wonderful if you notice yourself focusing on something so much that you don't value, that you can rein it in, bring it back. So pay attention to your swing. Some of these habits are really, really, really old. Some of these habits are beyond this lifetime. So recognize that. Don't be upset with yourself. That's paying attention in a way you don't need to pay attention. Just recognize it. Be like, oh, that one's a doozy. And I think the more you kind of that's me being human again, the better. Finally, trust. Can you trust your process of this energy? And just trust, again, the universe. Oof. Sometimes it's hard with this unfolding and these things that are painful, right, in the world. The divine, I believe, always has a plan. And I think when we can trust the divine, we can trust ourselves to step up in our own personal place. We all have different roles in what's unfolding. And that's the thing. Show up in your role. Everything else is noise. Everything else is, I don't know. We make peace. So, that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.